Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
So, how was your first time in Romania? Less than 24 hours here, but still.
Less than 24 hours, but these 24 hours I enjoyed a lot. I mean, mainly because I had like really great guests, you know, like taking care about me. Fantastic dinner yesterday, and then also today arriving here. I think I was very impressed by the location. I think it's a perfect location. Very well organized. The audience seems to be really curious about what is coming. They are open to learn stuff and things which it's not typical in all the territories where you go. Like people are like really overdosed with conferences and stuff like that. So that's what I enjoy here. I see a very positive mood, and everybody is really up for learning something and then hopefully turning this into practice.
Yeah, well, maybe because this is the first one ever, as I told you.
I heard that. That's great. Yeah.
I would like to ask you to say a few things about yourselves for the people watching us.
Yeah. So my real name is Thorsten Freese. Like everybody calls me Tori, which is fine, you know. And I'm working for Belief Digital, which is one of the largest, really full independent digital distribution and service companies. Means our core business is digital music distribution to the retailers. But we have a lot of other service levels like publishing, physical distribution if needed, stuff like that. We, I mean, that's Belief Digital, and I'm based in Germany as like the managing director for Germany. Plus, I'm also having like kind of a rule for the Belief Group, which is like I'm the director for the entire distribution network. It means I'm the one negotiating with Spotify, with Apple, and these guys, like all the distribution deals.
So I think 2015 was the year of streaming and vinyl.
Yeah.
You're in one of the businesses, but
yes.
maybe you have a little bit of
it's
I think vinyl thing.
It's really interesting. I mean, first of all, vinyl. You're completely right. I mean, vinyl was almost exploding. You know, if you just look to Germany. Like streaming increased by I think 86%, and what is interesting is that like at the same time download decreased by 12%, although physical product is very strong in Germany. It's like around 70%, which is interesting because all the people, I mean, a lot of people actually skipping the download part. They like from the physical product, they move directly to the streaming, which I find interesting. And then you're absolutely right. Very often the combination with vinyl, which I find great. I mean, my history is coming. Like I was like producing music, and I had like a lot of records out myself. I love vinyl, so I love the combination of streaming and vinyl. And for some of our clients, like I just described as a service, we can manufacture vinyl for them. But the tricky part, the bottleneck, is really not that we don't want to do it. It's really to find a pressing plan who's available. You know, like you have lead times up to 8-12 weeks to press a vinyl. So it's crazy. Yeah.
They just opened one in the US in Detroit, I guess, at the beginning of this year or something.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
So they're already building new vinyl factories, which is a very good sign.
I remember like a friend of mine offered me, like I think it was like 8 years ago, he said like, well, you know, I found like 3 vinyl pressing plan in Czech, and shall we buy it together? Or like, are you crazy? It's like and now I regret it, like kind of like it's amazing.
There's a lot of discussion around streaming. There are lots of pros and cons.
Yes.
Of course, you're going to give me the pros.
I can give you the cons as well if you want, but I think there are like more pros, you know. So, I mean, to be honest, I mean, I think the best example in a short time I can give you is Sweden. You know, I'm responsible for the Swedish market as well. And in Sweden, the total music consumption is purely digital. Like, I mean, physical basically doesn't exist anymore. In the digital, it's 80% streaming and it's 80% Spotify. But it's all driven by Spotify premium subscribers, so people who really pay for the streaming access, either directly or through a bundled product, like with a telco company, for example. And 2014 was actually the biggest or the best year for the Swedish music industry in the total market value. It overtook like the best previous year, which was 2004.
Wow.
Because since 2004, it's like just decreasing of the physical because of the physical. And then it started to picking up again, like I think 2010, and now 2014 the biggest year. If you speak there, I mean, the whole discussion, if is streaming fair and is an artist paid fair, it's just not existing there because everybody's happy, like artists, managements, record labels, companies, distributors. So I think this is something we can't stop streaming anyway, you know. So I think it's more about encouraging people to pay for streaming rather than experiencing freemium models where you just have to experience some advertisement, for example, because that is a big difference in terms of payment.
So record industry is doing good after all. They have nothing to complain. They are recovering.
At least in the Nordics. I think might be a risk for other territories and also labels because obviously the decrease of physical and download is fast, and the pickup of streaming can't fill this gap right now. You know, it's like I think we have to think about like more in the long term.
I've read somewhere that for 2015, I guess, the decrease in overall turnover of music industry revenues was only 4%.
Yeah.
But there are still very big chances that they recover and they will go up again.
I think it really very much depends on the territory. I think, like for example, if Germany, with 70% of the physical, it will decrease fast, and obviously, I mean, revenue will drop a lot, you know. But then I think there's a potential that these territories recover quite a lot. So all the people I'm talking to, maybe not like my good friend and colleague Frank, who was just here, like, but all the people I'm talking to is like they are very positive about streaming in general. Although I understand that it might be tough for musicians, for bands, to make a real living out of it, you know. So I think besides of the streaming, you really need to make sure that you really connect to all possible revenue streams, which could be like merch, get your live set up right and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my answer.
But is there like a have you thought maybe in how many years an artist could make a living out of selling his own music on streaming?
Yeah, it's a good question, but very tough to answer, I think, because every artist is so different, you know. I mean, like again, in Sweden and in Norway, we have a couple of artists, like big artists who can do a good living out of their music and being on streaming services, but also because they changed their setup. I mean, they used to be like with big major labels. Mm-hmm. They had like old contracts in place where they have been paid on a classic major contract, let's say, I don't know, 25% of revenues, or on a PPD, which is, there's no PPD in streaming anyway, you know. So, and they choose an alternative way, which is like, hey, I go for a strong distributor, for example, or a distributor who also commits to pay for marketing and stuff like that, but I rather take a higher rev share, and I think this in the combination is could be the way to make a good living out of it. So whenever there's like a major artist coming to us and saying, well, I don't like streaming because this of this and that, we really say, hey, let's have a look at the contract and see what's the current setup, and maybe you need to change first on something on the setup. And so far, we were right in many cases.
Since downloading and streaming, do you know any major artists who have dropped their big record labels and are going independently, doing everything with their teams?
Well, yes. I mean, one of them, for example, if I'm talking about Norway, I'm not sure you know it, but it's a guy called Thomas Dybdahl, who's like a massive singer-songwriter who just changed his entire setup, which was great. I think artists like Björk we work with, you know, I think they used to be on a major, but now they are with an independent label since a couple of records. So I think there are like more and more examples popping up these days.
Mm-hmm. Are there any, except from this Norwegian guy, are there any major artists with Believe Digital working with you? Yes,
absolutely. I mean, it's very I would not say like a worldwide superstars who are like successful in all territories, but we have like in each territory. So we have a couple of major artists came to us where it's like regularly topping the charts. Like, for example, in Germany, one example is like Lily Wood, who had like a smash dance hit, I think last year, and now the entire new album is coming with us. Iggy Pop, that was like a,
Wow.
that was but that was a very special album. I think he redid some of his in songs in French, for example. So that it was very focused on the French market,
Yeah.
but still signed directly with us. We just in the UK, I mean, Fatboy Slim is a huge electronic artist who signed with us directly. So in a couple of territories, like there are a lot of examples.
Okay, and probably more to come.
I hope so, yeah, and I think so.
Okay, thank you very much, Toddy.
Thank you so
for
much.
being here. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Your presentation is going to be soon,
Yes.
and I hope to keep in touch with you for the next editions of the conference.
I hope so. Thanks for everything.
Thank you very much.